Hello everyone and welcome to Brave Souls Rewind, the show where I add 200 older characters so you don't have to. Today I'll be covering the Christmas version of Kisuke, who, fun fact, is actually better than his past version variant. But both of these characters are very old, and even though this one is the better of the two, it doesn't necessarily make him usable. So let's find out whether or not he is. Now I'm starting with a normal attack damage build. Now this Kisuke's attack isn't as high as yesterday's Hiyori's, and for that matter he's only got a 20% bruiser as opposed to her 30. That said, his normal attack build is a little bit better than hers, for the simple reasons that his strong attacks, even while chappied, are far more useful, since this guy's got Frenzy. If you don't know, your attack stat does play a part on how much damage your strong attacks deal, even if you're chappied, and for him it did make a slight difference, since his normal attack alone wouldn't be enough to clear a quest, unless of course he supercharged it. Still, while it is possible to clear a quest under this build, I definitely wouldn't recommend it, as it's still very slow, and just because something's better doesn't necessarily mean it's good, as the strong attacks do deal more damage under this build, but their primary use is still to knock enemies down, and they don't have that great a range. So yeah, while it is a fun build to explore, unless you're gonna really increase that attack, it's not a viable build. Now next up, we have the strong attack damage / strong attack recharge link, and when this Kisuke got resurrected, they actually gave him a strong attack recharge link as a secondary trait. And thank you very much for that, K-Lab, as it does come in handy. As I mentioned before, this Kisuke has Frenzy, and it definitely shows. His strong attacks deal a lot of damage to enemies even though he doesn't have a killer towards, and despite his strong attacks not having the best range, it's actually enough to get by. Also fun fact, this Kisuke strong attack 3 is actually a 140 mag strong attack 3, so it deals about 20% more damage than your regular strong attack 3s would. At least for older characters anyway. But even still, he is an older character. I was able to clear this quest relatively quickly, but by relatively I mean relative to the rest of the older characters. It's still not fast by any means. Still, I am gonna say this build is viable. I mean, you're still better off using a newer character, and I wouldn't use this in co-op, but still, not bad. Yeah, I brought it back. Now finally we have the hybrid build, and honestly I quite like this one. In the last build his normal attacks didn't deal that much damage because they had no multipliers outside of his own, and his attack didn't really get a stat increase. Under this build it does, and he has additional multipliers, and it really shows. Under this build his normal attacks deal a decent amount of damage, and since he is primarily a strong attack damage character, his strong attacks do too. I do think this is the best of the three builds, but if you're gonna go with it, definitely increase his stats more than I did. He doesn't have very good base stats to begin with, so any percentage increase isn't gonna be that much. While this is the best of the three builds, I'm still gonna say you shouldn't take it in co-op, and you should still use a better character if you have them. It's usable, but it still takes a while to finish the quest compared to other characters. So there you have it. Kisuke is my favorite character, so I'm glad this one is still somewhat usable. I do wish he was better, but at this point it's kind of an impossibility, since they can't really increase his range by that much, and if you really want to do some heavy damage, you're gonna have to increase his stats either by Transcendence or by Link Slot Potions, which if we're being honest would be kind of a waste of resources. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what other characters you want to see in a rewind.